Yeah, what up? It's Aaron, all the Moseses. So I was watching the Breakfast Club interview with Sai, no, not Sai, Chi Ali, and my son. Now, my son said something very powerful. He said that as black people, or just as people in general, that we need to be speaking up. When we see something, you need to do something about it. You need to utilize your courage. He said, don't utilize your scaredness. And yes, I was raised in Sandy Springs, Atlanta, Georgia. When I was living there, it was technically Atlanta. Now, technically, it's not. Just like Decatur, Georgia. How you doing? But at the same time, both of my parents are from the hood, and that's where my roots are. So the topic is, when should you utilize your scaredness? When should you say something? When should you make yourself that baby Jesus? When are you gonna put your life on the line? Now, when I was younger, how you doing, Kay? I'm sorry, my screen's cracked right there, especially. When I was younger, my mom always told me, the easiest way to stay out of danger, stay out of trouble is by minding your business. And of course, this is some street stuff. This is some street knowledge that she gave me. And I carried that, and I carried that, and I took it. Now, prior to that, we were walking down the street. I remember it just like it was yesterday. I can see it right now. My cousin dropped me off downtown. My mom used to work at Toys R Us. She was the manager. We took the train, took the bus to Roseland, the south side of Chicago. We got off the bus. We proceeded to walk towards our home, right? And, excuse me, we saw a man that got shot in the chest. And I was looking at him. I stopped her and I said, Ma, should we call the police? And she looked at me and she said, he's coughing out of his mouth. He's already dead. He's gonna die. When you cough blood out your mouth like that, you're not gonna survive. So, no. When you get in the house, do not call the police. And I was probably 3 years old. Okay? My mom wasn't a bad mother at all, but she always taught me the best way to stay out of trouble is to mind your business. If you see somebody doing something, if they're doing something in public, let's say you're at Kroger, right? They don't have Kroger in Illinois. I mean, in Chicago, they only have Jewel Osco, and they used to have Dominic's back in the day. If you see somebody stealing from the store, if they're crazy enough to look you in the eye and steal, they're crazy enough to hurt you. If you see somebody, if you see somebody freaking stealing a car, if they're stealing that car in front of you and they keep doing it, they know they can go to prison for years and years and years for doing this. So if they're willing to go to prison to commit this crime and look you in the eye, why would you try to stop that person? Because if they're crazy enough to do something like that, they're crazy enough to push that line to the point where you might not even have a life fucking around. So when should we make ourselves a sacrifice? When should we make ourselves a sacrifice? How far should you go? If you see somebody raping somebody in the street, you can kill them. In most states, I believe. But if somebody is raping a woman in the street and they're willing to throw their whole life away to commit that crime, what do you think they're going to do to you if you try to stop that? When is it okay to make yourself a possible sacrifice? And that's where I want to go live with somebody to discuss this. I think I really I really don't, just because I've been so programmed so deeply to keep myself safe and to not intervene, and it's not even letting the universe, because I am the universe. So what do I look like not intervening? If I die, I die. But is my life more valuable than this person We don't know. This woman could have been a virgin, or this person that could have been their first car, or they could have spent their life savings, you know, to get this 2003 Honda Civic. We don't know. And they have 5 kids, and if they don't show up this last time for work, they'll get fired, and then they'll lose all their kids, and they just got them back. Like, when do we make ourselves a sacrifice? So I definitely want to have that discussion with somebody. I know I said the R word, and I lost all my viewers, but I'm about to go live and do some free readings, and I just want to pop this out real quick. So nobody wants to come on the video. Okay, I mean, if you want to come on, let me know. If not, that's cool. I don't really have too much. I'm very middle path with this. I know there's a lot of righteous anger floating around. I know we need to utilize, not we as any kind of skin color or any kind of socioeconomical background identifying people. We as human beings, we need to utilize our courage and stop utilizing our scaredness to keep ourselves safe, because we don't know the future of other people. I met somebody who said they were a psychopath, and that's the reason that they went to the Marines, because they didn't want to consciously hurt people. So if they were going to hurt people, they wanted to do it in a righteous way, in a way that was going to express the amount of aggressiveness that they formed, that they adopted as a child. And when the person got out of the Marines, the person decided, I'm just gonna do the superhero thing. I'm just gonna dress up in all black and put on a mask and look for people who are committing crimes. I'm gonna look the law up, and when I see these people committing crimes, I'm gonna beat the shit out of them, because I have so much aggression that I would eventually be dangerous to society. And I said, bro, are you serious? And he said, yeah, I don't play sports. When I was in high school, I used to sprint. I was a running back on the football team. Never played basketball. I got out of high school. I didn't want to have a job. I tried out for the Marines. I auditioned for the Marines, and then I started hurting people. And I was like, for real? And what'd you do after that? And he was like, when I got out the Marines, I figured out you can't really just hurt people. He developed a drinking problem, of course. And he masked up. He got his goon suit on. And then he started looking for people in New Orleans that were committing crimes. He told me he killed 3 people that were trying to rape a woman. He killed them. He beat the shit out of people who were trying to break in people's houses and cars. I think what's it called? It's called citizens arrest. He citizens arrest a lot of people. Arrested like over 50 people. Some people he didn't call the police on. If he saw somebody getting jumped, he would beat the fuck out of everybody, even the guy who was getting jumped, for doing whatever he did to get jumped, if he believed that they did something that warranted them to get jumped. And that is the most extreme thing I've ever heard. I also met people in Chicago that said they have, oddly enough, they killed people who they knew in their gang, killed children. Because in certain gangs in Chicago, if you accidentally kill a child, you're supposed to turn yourself in. But not everybody tells, not everybody's integrable in a gang. So they didn't tell everybody that, hey, that kid that got killed, that was me. They didn't tell people that. So the person would actually take the time out of their day and kill that person. They would kill pedophiles. They would kill heroin dealers and cocaine dealers. And that's what they would do, for their gang. They wouldn't actually kill people that were outright assassins. That's what they would do. And, when you go into that profession, because you have to be pretty professional to do that. You have to sit in trees and bushes for 3 days. Like, Chicago has actual assassins. It's not all drive-bys. It's people sitting on the roof, 3 clicks to the left, 5 clicks to the right. They do that, okay? Google it, 1990s. People in Chicago sit in the trees, in the bushes, for days, using the bathroom on themselves, doing hard drugs to make sure that they know that you're gonna be there to stay awake for days, hours. Okay, Chicago's not just shoot 'em up, bang bang, drive by. This is not LA. Okay, we don't do that. Nah, that's not what goes on all the time. Not trying to brag. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's cool. None of that. But what I'm saying is, these people that I've met, some of it's respectable, some of it's not, and they knew going into this that they could possibly go to prison for the rest of their lives. Okay, these people have had children. These people have families. These people have somebody who is going to be negatively affected by their vigilante ass ways. So when do you think, personally, when do you think that that is acceptable? When would you put yourself on the line? Good morning. Is it still morning? Well, top of it to you. It is still morning. I'm gonna go live. I was gonna go live at 12. I can, because you guys are being some creepies and watching me, not even commenting, don't want to come live. But that's okay, because this is America, the best country in the world. And if you're not in America, you're losing. You got an L. You got an L, baby. You're on the L train. I'm on the W train. So, personally, I don't really have an opinion. I like to mind my business. I like to mind my business. Now, I've never been put in a situation. I heard somebody getting raped before, but I was in jail, so I couldn't really do anything about it. Number one, I saw somebody abusing their wife. I said something about it. I didn't beat that person up because my motor skills were just, there was nothing I could do about it without me being abused and being victimized myself. But I did say something about it. I've seen people verbally abuse their wives, or I hurt them, and I said something about it. But I've never really been in that situation. I mean, the last time I was in jail, I could have stopped a lot of things, but I didn't want to put myself in that situation. Three things I totally could have stopped. One is when a dude threw a shoe at another guy because he didn't want him to keep singing because he was trying to play cards and he was just getting frustrated. And I could have walked up and said, "Hey, bro, look, I know this is annoying you. I'm going to give you a peanut butter to not throw this shoe." Because I peeped everything out. I could have done that. I didn't want to do it because I didn't want him to take his aggression out on me. Him throwing the shoe started a gang fight between the Vice Lords and the Latin Kings, which did not end very well at all. Okay. The second thing, I definitely could have stopped Shaft from getting his head broken open and leaving puddles of blood all over the deck. If you want to know that story, go to my YouTube, AaroniMoses the One. That's my YouTube. I could have stopped that. I definitely could have stopped that. I could have stopped the initial fight that even made people call him Shaft. I could have stopped. I could have stopped some more stuff. I could have stopped this dude from going crazy because he thought everybody was threatening him when nobody was threatening him at all. I could have calmed him down. I didn't do that. But all in the name of me being safe in jail. I don't want to be that sacrifice. Like, I don't feel like that's my role in society, to be a sacrifice. I don't feel like it is. I may sacrifice my time, my money, my mental health for you guys, but for me to just not have a body anymore, I don't think that's my role, to be a sacrifice. But what has to happen for somebody to utilize their courage and to and to stop using their scaredness and to stop utilizing their scaredness. Hey, what's up, Kayla? Hey, all day. Everybody joins spiritual guides and readers. I'm just on here talking about asking the people to go live with me on the topic of utilizing your scaredness. When is it okay to utilize your scaredness? What has to happen for you to just say nothing and do nothing? What has to happen for you to sacrifice yourself? And I talked about this with one of my loved ones. I said, look, if I could make 9/11 not happen, I would sacrifice my son. If there was a button that said, look, your son's going to die or thousands of people are going to lose their lives, I would make sure those thousands of people kept their lives. Now, a lot of people, I spoke to 3 people. Out of those 3 people, 2 of them said, my child, my one child that could grow up to be a serial killer or a rapist? No, I wouldn't let them die for thousands of people. That's a hard decision to make. But at the same time, these are thousands of lives. Thousands. I would sacrifice myself for thousands of lives. But what really has to happen? That's pretty extreme. But something so little. If you missed the live, you would take a bullet for somebody getting hurt. A stranger? Hold on, guys. I just put on that brand new chapstick. I had that. So you guys got to tell me when I got stuff on my face. If you're my real friend. That's probably what I was. Anyway, let's just go past that. But a bullet for a stranger? I would have took a bullet for Nipsey Hussle. If I knew, well, he had a lot of bullets, so that wouldn't have mattered at all. But if you see somebody breaking into somebody's car and you know they could potentially kill you, like, hey, this guy smells like methamphetamine. If you know what meth smells like, he's obviously off the shitty titties. You know what they're going through. You know this guy has hella kids and he's just trying to pay his rent and just, if you know this guy could potentially kill you, would you stop them from doing something? Anything. How you doing, Trina? We're doing well. What did I eat? Oh, pineapples. Still got them pineapples in my teeth. And it's all good. I don't know my limit. Besides 2,000 people, that's not a hard choice. But from all the things that I've seen, a limb, when I sacrifice my arm for somebody getting potentially raped, I don't know the answer to these questions, bro. I don't know my limit of sacrifice. I mean, time is the most valuable thing. Time is more valuable than my arm or my leg or my sexual organs or my feet. Longevity is the goal, right? So me not having an arm, if I caught somebody, the thing is, maybe family. If I caught somebody raping or attempting to rape like a 13-year-old person, and I know they're a virgin and they're like punching them in the face, would I sacrifice my whole arm? Probably my arm up to the elbow. I think that would be my decision. But my whole arm, my life, or this young lady's innocence, the rest of it. But see, we don't know what went on at the same time. She could have done, I mean, there's no excuse for rape. I'm not saying that. But there could be, this guy could be mentally ill. I mean, obviously, if you're trying to rape somebody. But no, look, let's change that because I felt like I was going to say something very offensive. So, when all of my lady friends have told me, my boyfriend hit me, my boyfriend punched me in the face, my first question is, number 1, are you all right? Number 2, what went on? Now, a lot of people like to say, what did you do? Anything short of her punching him in the face, pretty much she didn't deserve it. She could have called his mom a bitch, stole $50, all kind of stuff. She didn't deserve it if she didn't punch him in the face, okay? A lot of people, I mean, maybe it's just verbal vomit, like, What did you do? I've never asked that. What happened is the question. Who angry faced me? What you talking about? Think somebody punched me? What is that? I got another wrinkle. That's what's up. But what does that say? I don't know what that means. But I don't know. That's really sad. I guess I have to be put in more situations to know how I would react. And I don't want that. Not at all. I don't want to walk down the street when I just got done, doing a good job at work and living my normal life and see somebody, getting sexually assaulted or have a big gun on my waist and see somebody robbing a store. That's not what I want. I don't know. You know what? I'll just say it. I'll admit it. I don't know myself to know what I would have to do to sacrifice my life. Because you know what? My dad asked me that when I was very young. I think I was like 10 or 11. He asked me, son, who would you die for? And I looked at him like, die. I'm 11. I don't even know what life is. If I don't know what life is, how do you expect me to answer that question? Who would I die for? Nigga, nobody was my answer at that time. And he was like, my dad's a Leo. I mean, a Libra. My dad's a Libra. He was like, you wouldn't die for me? And I was like, you abandoned me? No, nigga, I don't even know you, bro. I just started calling you dad last year because my mom made you. Telling me to call me you dad. And he was like, I would die for you. And I was like, you're an idiot because you don't even know me, fool. All kind of AaroniMoses pain. But I think I would die for a lot of people. Probably, most likely. I love a lot. I'm a Leo moon. And I feel strongly about a lot of things. I'm very liberal and very conservative in a lot of ways. I don't think a lot of people should be doing a lot of things to and with their bodies for other people. I'm preaching the word. Oh, amen. I'm not even gonna do it. One day I'm gonna give you guys my my Baptist preacher impression. I don't want to do it right now because it's just inappropriate, and this situation is pretty serious, and that wouldn't even be appropriate. And I don't want to make this video too long. But you know what, guys? I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to admit this, and you're going to think I'm a sociopath. And that's okay. Because you guys don't do shit for me. So I don't care what you think. So I'm going to be all right with it. When my son was born, I didn't really feel anything. When he was born, I cried. I cried. I thought I wasn't, but I did. I cried. I anticipated not crying, just folding my arms, standing there like freaking Vegeta, about to get ready for a battle. But I cried when my son was born because I was standing there watching. And for the first 3 days, I told myself, don't feel anything for this child because he might die. And if he dies, that's going to change your whole life. You're not going to be the same person. I didn't feel too much for my son until he was about 4 months. Until his life kept getting put in danger. I had to be constantly reminded that this is your child. No, you know what? That's a goddamn lie. Because the first time he got a shot, when he was born, he was purple. One of the reasons I named him Jimmy. He was purple because his body temperature was very cold. And he's light skinned. So he was the color of this cup. And everybody thought he was dead. The nurse was, and I heard this and I was standing there like, bruh, is he dead? And then he started crying and I was like, thank you. Thank you. Because I don't need that. And they put him under the little warmer for a couple hours And then one of the male nurses, my hormones changed like a mother effer, like right after that. The male nurse came in and gave him shots, and he started to cry. And I just felt like mauling this dude because I knew he was making my child cry. My instincts just kicked in. Let me do it again. I can't snap that loud, right? And that's my left hand. I'm right-handed. So I didn't feel much for my child until he was about, after that, maybe 4 months. Plus I had what's it called? Postpartum daddy depression, because the hormones in my household were all fucked up, and I was very, very sad. Um, but what happened after? What was my point? I would die for my child. How I knew this was from we moved from Chicago to Oklahoma, right? And I hate telling the story, but I'm telling anyway. The person we were living with told me that I should feed her adult children and sacrifice my son to feed a pregnant woman who did not give a fuck about her life, her child's father, the brother, and their fucking little stupid, goofy ass, weak ass friend. We bought food for us. Me and his mother bought food for us. And these non-working, unmotivated people ate all of our food. Mind you, at the time, we were vegetarians. Okay, I'm still a vegan right now. I don't eat meat, cheese, none of that. And these people, we're in the country. And if you're from the South or you're from the country, you know country people and Southerners are really big meat eaters. And they freaking, like, when they saw fruits and vegetables, they would practically vomit. But when I have a bag of apples, peaches, bananas, we didn't have any food. My son didn't have any food because we had to keep buying food using our food stamps for us and my son. So we had to make the choice, hey, do we want to eat? Or should we feed him? Not or should we feed him? The question was, the whole situation, we couldn't eat because we had to feed him. But the lady was telling us, hey, you need to contribute to this household by feeding my adult children who don't want to do shit with their lives. And I was like, look, bro, I'm not. So in conclusion, I told this whole dramatic ass story. I would die for my son. I will put my life on the line for my son. I've done it a lot of times already. He's only fucking he's not even 3 yet. He's not even 3. I almost died for my son. I've sacrificed a lot for my son. I'm doing it as we speak. Right now. And you don't even know it. But what is your limit? Where are you going to become Osiris? Osiris didn't necessarily sacrifice himself. But Jesus is based off of Osiris and Horus combined. I don't even think that's necessary. I think you just need to be prepared. I think you need to be properly prepared for perfect action. I think you just need to be prepared so no sacrifices need to be made. I know that. You can't save everybody. 9/11 was gonna happen, whatever. You're not freaking Angelina Jolie. This is not the movies. This is not Wanted. Okay? But you could get a big ass gun and a big ass knife and a big ass bank account so you can have a big ass knowledge of Tai Chi and fuck somebody up when they're doing some big ass shit that's gonna affect a big ass amount of people. Be big. The only way to be big is to not be small. Alright? It's AaroniMoses. Life is in the breath. Breathe it in. Purple stuff up in my purple cup.